Hello, people of the internet. Lee Wakefield here, back for computers that I found at the Recycle Center, part 2. So you know that power supply that came out of the Acer, or Gateway? Well, let's take it over here. Just so you guys know, this is a Cougar STX 350 watt. And Cougar is on AliExpress, so goodbye. So now that we have cleaned all the computers, we're waiting for that to close. Now we cleaned all the computers with this lovely Porter Cable air compressor, and now we're going to go and look at the computers. Alright, so as you can see, some things have happened to the Gateway. Got its panel off. It needs a power supply, and it needs a new reapplication of thermal paste, as that is pretty dried up. So it's good that I have some on hand. We'll put some of that on there. And then this one I think is just ready to go. We'll fire it up and see what happens. We'll need to drag out a VGA cable for that one, but luckily, whenever I was in the bin with the computers, they gave me all the cables. So, yep, let me just clean up this one, get a new power supply. What does mine have? I forget. Oh, yep, it just comes apart like that. I have the XFX power supply. Okay, so we're going to use the Thermaltake one. Yeah, we're going to use a Thermaltake one, even though it's not as good. I don't really feel like wasting my 800 watt Corsair. So yeah, I'm going to go and get the 600 watt Thermaltake. And, well, let's just get it right now. It's just no cuts. So. Sorry for any background noise. Here we are, the attic. I need that one right here. Let's make sure it is what it says. Yeah, it's not the best power supply in the universe, but it'll work. I think this one is the Corsair. Yeah. Hopefully you guys can see it. So yeah, there you go. GS800. All right. So I don't waste that one. That one is going to be put in a pretty high power build sometime. 1 second. The box is kind of destroyed, so it takes manhandling to get it back together. But I hope to use this one in a nice, powerful rig. But for today, we don't need 3.3 volt lines. That's all right. Even though they say Molex to say they'll lose all your data. Yeah, I know. But there's not an option today. So let's go and take this down with us. And I think this is all we're going to need. So I'm going to close it up after. Alright. And we're going to shut this. Yeah, we'll leave that there. There you go. Alright. So, I guess this will also be a instructional video on how to change your thermal paste and install power supply. So, sweet. Alright, so, first thing you're going to want to do is, will this work today? Yeah, good enough. Alright, so first materials you're going to need are isopropyl alcohol and Q-tips. We're going to grab those. Alright, so once you have the alcohol, and the Q-tips, and I know alcohol may be pretty hard to get at the moment, the rubbing alcohol, mind you. I don't know how hard regular alcohol is to get. But what we're going to do is we're going to put one of the Q-tips in the alcohol. Seen unavailable, but you just dip it into the container, and then you're just going to scrub this little thing, this little circular thingy right here. It's called the, it's not a heat spreader, it's the heat sink. It's the part where the processor meets the heat sink. So, once you do that, it's going to get all nasty. Oh, sorry guys, frame froze. Hopefully it comes back to us soon, because that would suck. Oh, there we go, it came back. Alright, so then it's going to turn all nasty. Sorry, it's out of focus. Oh, boy. Oh, man. Yeah, sorry about this. My camera's kind of bad, but then it's going to turn all nasty. Well, that's why you grabbed a few of them. So, get another one. Dip it in the alcohol. Rub it on here. I'm going to just do this off camera so I can get it done faster, because I hope you guys saw the first one. You just rub it on that little part there. You'll be able to tell when it's clean because it'll either change color or you'll see this weird effect. Let me show you guys 1 second. So you should be able to see a little pattern. Yeah, and you can kind of see it. It's very faint because there's not much light in this room, but yeah, so you can see that, so that's how you know it's clean on that side. So then grab a rag, and then just wipe any final bits off of that, and then dry it off. And well, here I'll just clean inside of here because I can, inside the fan cone. Here we get it off, why not? Looking spiffy. I'll tell you guys my plans for this computer once we actually see it boot, because there could be a problem. Alright, so now whenever it's fully cleaned, man, it's really hard to see on camera. Oh, there we go. So yeah, there should be a little, like, I guess divisions on the piece of metal, and that's just the way they made it. So now to clean the part on the motherboard. You get your Q-tip. I am looking directly through the viewfinder. That's not a good idea. And then just scrub. But also be careful not to get thermal paste anywhere else. So, very carefully, we will scrape it off. And let's see, do I have an area just I can hold it? Kinda. There you go. So then just scrub this off. Believe it or not, I've actually never had to clean a Socket 775 processor in my life before, but well, now we are. So now it's going to look like that. Put this down. Grab your rag and just wipe it up. It should go on the rag like that. Then what you're going to do is get the same rag, douse it in some alcohol again, and rub it on the processor, a bit like that, and just clean off any any marks or residue on the processor. Now that it is completely polished, it says it is an E5300 Pentium dual core. Yes, it is. Sorry, I was looking for the viewfinder. Oh, my bad. Flip this around. All right, so once you get that all nice and clean, just to make sure I got it clean, I am going to lift the retaining bracket and inspect. Never done this with a 775 processor, so this feels kind of new to me. Alright, so once it's all gone, oh yeah, well, here, I'll show you guys. Alright. So if you need to replace your processor or you're upgrading or something, this should be on Intel, okay? On AMD it's a bit different. But on Intel, they have a little latch here. Sorry, it's out of focus. A little latch here. Move that away from this little tang here. You'll see this little thing there. Lift it up. This will come out this way. Then, be very careful to lift out the processor. And to put a new one in, line up the triangle. Sorry, I just got really loud. I'm having a hard time seeing. Hold on. Well, I guess triangles and squares don't matter right now. You need to line it up with that notch. And I actually need to do this two-handed, but line it up with the notches. I'm really trying hard not to drop this in. And you will know that it goes in because there will be very little wiggle room. And the arrow on the processor meets up with absolutely, well, that. It's really hard to see, though. After that, you just push that back on, latch that back on, and then you're going to put your processor fan back on. So, always orientate the wires to the motherboard header. And, well, you need to put thermal paste on first. One sec. I'm running out of water. Okay. So, what we're going to do next is, well, probably the most anxious part of a computer is, well, first, finding the thermal paste. That is always a drag. All right, there it is. So people tell you, oh, so, you know, put on this much, put on that much, put on this much, put on this much, you know, whatever. People say, oh, that's too much, oh, that's too little. Well, guess what? I don't care. It's my computer, and you can do it however you'd like on yours. So this is about the amount that I put on. Let me show you guys. About 2 peas, which is like 1 big grain of rice. And, well, let's put this on now. So, can I get you guys a good angle of this? Not really. I'm sorry. I guess I just have to live with no camera for a second. So, let's put this down on here. Oh, we missed it by a little bit. That's my bad. Alright. We are all on the standoffs. Alright, and go from corner to corner while tightening the screws, because if you don't, you're going to have pressure problems and your thing could just not work and you don't drop your screwdriver on the motherboard. That also kind of sucks. Oh man, I wish I had better lights in this room. Just tighten it up corner by corner all the way until they get tight. Man, I'm really failing at this. I'm sorry, guys. I know it's just an audio cast right now, but trust me, I am failing. Alright, there we go. Now all 4 are on. So, just tighten them. Don't let your screwdriver fall. It's the worst thing you can let it do, but I'm letting it happen anyway. And keep on tightening it. Sorry about that noise. I can't do much about it because people are stupid. Alright, that one's tight. That one's tight. That one's tight. And that one's tight. So what you actually want to do with the fan cable I was wrong is, to where it meets the end, it should be able to plug in easily. In the fan header, I will show you guys once we get it plugged in. Alright. Should be able to line up right there, so it's a little circle. So, trust me, you'll know it's on because you can pick up the whole computer by the fan. So don't recommend that, but you can do that. Now, can you take this part off? Just wondering. So, hold on. Curiosity is getting the best of me right now. I want to take this off, but I guess we're not doing that. That's fine. I'll bend that part back right quick. Hold on. It had gotten, like I say, all these things get dropped into the bin, so it's not like they are cared for when they happen, but it's alright. Just fix it. There. Looks a bit better. So now we're going to put in our power supply. So close the cap to the alcohol. Get your nasty thermal paste covered Q-tips off your desk, or just drop them on the ground if you don't make it. Don't worry, that'll be cleaned up later. Get your power supply out if it's brand new. It's going to come in a box with wrap on it. Oh God! And yep, just make sure to drop your power supply. It should be fine. There's no shaky bits in it. That just shows that accidents do happen, always. Alright, so let's go and put it in. If you have a top-mounted power supply, you will put it in like this, but inside. So let me show you guys that. You guys are going to get it right. So you guys get to look at the 24-pin connector. Alright, let's see this. Yeah, it would have been really smart of me to... Well, I guess we can just take the little thingy off. Take the little cone off the processor fan. Yes, for people that didn't know, this thing does come off. You don't have to use it, but it's recommended that you do. That's fine. I'm just here to install a new power supply, so there may be cables or things that get in your way because it's an OEM case and they have weird cables and crap, so you may need to move them prior to installation, and you guys just fell on the computer. Alright. This is normal. There we go. Alright, all the screws line up. So, you know you did it correctly when... Oh, sorry about the contrast and the focus. Alright, well, you can tell that they line up because all four of the holes you will be able to see. So, once that's done, screw it in with some of the screws that maybe came with your power supply, depending on if it's new or not. If your power supply isn't new, you're not going to get any screws. Deal with it. Otherwise, just screw them in. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. It's not that hard. But you do want to make sure it's positively affixed because you don't want your big old power supply banging around on your processor and your motherboard and your graphics card. And you don't want bad things to happen. So, just remember, while installing it, there may be some micro adjustments you need to make. So don't just screw in the screws to the power supply all the way. Once you get all 4 in and then you tighten them down, the power supply or the case will learn how to adapt to your power supply. So kind of the same as the processor, just doing a star pattern, I guess, or an X, because this isn't a car. Well, this isn't a car. Oh, I'm running out of water. Sorry for this really long video, but once you get your big bad power supply plugged in, you're going to see a bunch of wires. You're going to be like, oh, what do these go to? Well, let me show you. So, there's a big one here, which has 24 pins. Guess what? Goes into the slot that has 24 pins. Granted, you may have a power supply that doesn't have a pin, like right there. That's okay. Even though there are 24 on the board, not all 24 get used. So what you're going to want to do is get all the other cables out of the way. You just want this one right now. And you may just want to shove the excess in an area. But like this. This is completely fine. So flip it around where the little clasp, and there's also a little tab thing on the board. And just, I'm looking through the viewfinder, I'm sorry. And then just click it in. It might make a click, it might not. But you just want to make sure that it is over that little clippy part. And if it is, you have successfully put in your 24-pin power connector. Next connector. Is this EPS 12 volt? Yes, I think so. Let me just make sure. Yep. Alright. So next, you might see a 4 or an 8-pin connector on your motherboard. For that, you're going to need one of these. It may have 4 pins, it may have 8 pins, just depending on how old your computer or power supply is. And of course, on all these connectors on the motherboard, there's going to be a little tab there. And all the connectors on the power supply are going to have a little claspy thing. So you just push it down. May take some bending, and that one made a little click. So you know it went in. Now, let's see, what else do we need to plug in? We have optical and hard drives. So get your SATA. I understand this is the incorrect SATA connector, as it should have an orange wire, but Thermaltake decided to cheap out and just put ketchup and mustard. That's fine, but you know, I would rather have the 3.3 volt line. So let me show you how these work. So these, they are angled. They're keyed. See that? They're keyed. And on the hard drive or any other drive, they're also keyed. So they'll only go in one way. So you can't really screw it up. Unless your little key is broken off, which I've seen before. But you should still be able to find out where it goes, because the piece of plastic that broke off, that was the key. Well, that's where the key was. So, enough whining. Oh, there we go. Alright. So, see that there? There's a DVD drive in there. We need to connect it. That is going to be a huge pain. Get these over here. We're going to have to do this off camera. Hold on. Alright, just remember, they are keyed. You may have to take out the SATA data cable first before being able to really see the power cable, which is okay. Just don't forget to plug the data one back in. Get the optical drive sorted, and now you're gonna get the hard drive sorted. There we go. So once they're done, they shouldn't really move a whole lot, and I know you guys can't see down there, but there's something down there. There we go, focus. And all the other excess wires that you have, wind them back up. Here, let me show you. Wind them up. line them up like this and just shove them in your nearest hole. Not you, but your computer's nearest hole. So then you can just leave it there. As long as the side panel shuts, you should not have an issue. So, I'm pretty sure that's all this computer needs, is we don't have a graphics card. Maybe they did, that was open. That's okay. How to add expansion cards, you flip this thing up. You gotta break these tabs out, so I'm pretty sure it's never had a graphics card, but that's okay. We don't care about that right now. What we care about is, well, is this thing going to work? So, let's see if the side panel fits with our new 600 watt power supply. Definitely, it fits. Alright, cool. So now, of course, bad GBs if you put on the power supply, put on the side panel before you see it post. So now what we're going to do is we're going to see if they post. And make sure to put on your fan cover. Hold on. Alright. There you go. Always make sure to put your fan cover back on. And now you're set. Put my keys away. And now let's see. Or maybe we should just make this a part 3. Let's make this a 3-part video. Alright, you guys are going to have to wait to part 3 to see these turn on. That's pretty much right after this one, so don't worry about it, guys. We'll be back.